Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your man DJ Playboy. On this episode, we got to talk about all the allegations Meek Mill been facing and how he been handling it all wrong. Nikki Haley dropped out of the Republican presidential race. Charlamagne had beef with the big backs. Oprah left Weight Watchers. Bradley Cooper said he ain't love his daughter on day one and caught some backlash for it. And of course, I got to show y'all all the wild videos I've seen on the internet, man. It's the Perfect Talk podcast. Let's get it, baby. What's good, y'all? It's your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. You know we in the building, man, but no time for small talk. We got a lot to talk about today. So let's get right to Plicker's Spotlight story. And today we shining the light on a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. You know who I'm talking about, your guy Meek Mill, or like some of y'all are calling him on the internet, Freak Mill, right? Said he got caught up in a freako. And this is all happening because a person named Rodney Little Rod Jones, filed a lawsuit against P. Diddy. Said he was a former producer and videographer for the mogul, and that some inappropriate activity was going on. You know, maybe Diddy was trying to groom him for something. You got to go check out the lawsuit yourself for exactly what he was alleging. But in those allegations, they said that Diddy admitted to having intercourse with a Philadelphia rapper and an R&B superstar who recently performed at the Super Bowl. Now, it's not really hard for us to figure out. They're talking about Diddy having relations with Meek Mill and Usher. Now, Usher handled this the right way. Usher, you know what I mean, just laid low. He's on his honeymoon. He chilling. I ain't got nothing to talk about. Not Meek Mill. No, Meek Mill showed you how to have the worst week ever. You know what I mean? Meek Mill went full DEFCON 9 on X. Just went at everybody. You know what I mean? Started a beef with DJ Academic, who reported this. Went into an online back and forth about how he's going to pull up on Academic, how he's going to beat him up, this, that, and the third. Just to say, you know what I mean? I'm going to fall back on that. The governor called me and said, chill, you know what I mean? Which is kind of weird. Also went into, you know, just a series of tweets on why he's not gay. One of them most famous being, one of the more famous ones and funnier ones being, when I got a girl around me, I'm in there twice a day. LOL. Ask some of your favorites. Don't control me, but it's like a high. One love to gay people, but that juicy, do it for me. I done ran red lights to get that feeling. Y'all weird on here, like devils. LOL. The funny part is when he wrote that juicy, do it for me. He wrote me with a lot of E's, so it comes across like, that juicy ussy do it for me. And Meek Mill was getting these jokes from everybody. Antonio Brown want to know what Dreams and Nightmares is all about. And more famously, comedian Andrew Schultz mentioned Meek Mill in his recent set in Philadelphia.
Gay happy. I was like, Meek Mill. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Meek is gay. I do not think Meek is gay. But he is incredibly bad at proving he's straight. He is maybe the worst in history at doing that. When someone accuses you of being gay, you don't get on Twitter and go, I love pussy so much, it's so juicy and wet, it's my favorite thing. I just put my dick in it, it squeezes my dick in it, it's so juicy and it's so wet. He was like, I even had sex with a girl on her period. That's how you know I love women. He tweeted that and I was like, oh, he thinks that's disgusting. And you know who else thinks that's disgusting? The gays. Nah, but shout out Meek, bro. Shout out Meek, man. He's done a lot of amazing things with prison reform, right? Getting all them gay dudes out so he can suck their dicks proudly. That's a bunch of fine-ass motherfuckers in jail. We need them on the street so I can bust them cheeks. Hop on the back of this dirt bike, or the front, whatever.
And even Meek Mill's response to that Andrew Schultz clip was a little suspect, because he had laughing emojis, you know, the crying laughing emoji, and said, the first time I laughed at being gay, but don't with me in real life. I may swing. LOL. Ain't got no commas in there. Ain't got no accused of being gay. You know what I mean? Just was like, fuck it. We just gonna type what we type. We just gonna let the fingers have a mind of its own. We just gonna let autocorrect just predict what we just gonna type here. First time I laughed at being gay. What the hell, Meek Mill? Somebody take this man's phone away from him. And then to end the week on an even lower note, your man Meek Mill gets into a car crash. Wrecks up his Hummer. Mosh up the whole thing. And tweeted, God telling don't crash out for these busters. I'ma listen. Shit knocked me out. GMC, the whole brake pedal slipped off. My first time driving. SMH. Yeah, somebody got to teach Meek Mill how to use commas. And you know what I mean? It ain't always ... That's not always the best way to go with it. And then followed that Instagram post up with a tweet saying, "Stop asking me if I'm straight. I'm just gonna play it raw how the world..." Jeez. Somebody help Meek Mill out, man. Stop asking me if I'm straight. I'm just gonna play it raw how the world is. I'm blessed. I'm okay. But I ain't hearing nothing. Good looking. I mean, I think that's how he wanted it to sound. Like I said, the man don't use commas, no type of punctuation and nothing in his sentences in his tweets. But stop asking me if I'm straight. I'm just gonna play it raw. What is going on here? Take his phone. If you his management, if you his agent, if you Rock Nation, take the man's phone. It's crazy out here. And the fact that Diddy is just pulling people down with his shenanigans and nonsense, it just shows, man, that damn, on the way down, I guess people just pull people with them. Because what the hell going on out here, man? We'll see where that lawsuit goes. I'll keep you informed. I haven't been hearing much about it, which might make it seem like it's unfounded. But with Diddy, you never know. He might have paid it off under the table. He might have gotten it done. But it seems like Meek Mill is more so feeling the brunt of this than anybody else. And that guy is having the worst week ever. And I'm going to address this too. Also, a lot of people on the internet saying that the jokes that Meek Mill receiving was homophobia, as if being gay was something, undesirable or to be made fun of or to be afraid of. I guess, the actual term of phobia. But I don't think that's what it is. Like, I feel like there are a lot of artists out there that we know are gay. You know what I'm saying? Janelle Monáe, Lil Nas X, Frank Ocean. I mean, and these people are at the top of their game. You know what I mean? So I don't think anybody was making fun of Meek Mill for being gay. I think what people were making fun of is maybe being closeted or at least maybe being one thing in the public but something else behind closed doors, which that's just hip hop. You know what I mean? Anything they find about you being inauthentic, you know what I'm saying, people are going to point out. And I don't even think people really felt like that about Meek. It's like you got to get these jokes when it's your time, and that's just what it is. Now, how you react to it depends how long it's going to go on for. And Meek Mill kept this dragging on for like over a week, so hopefully, things move on, the news cycles move on. But thank you, Meek Mill, for giving us great content. We appreciate you, brother. And right now, we're going to move on to our next segment out here called Winners and Losers. Yeah, it's a new thing we're doing here at Perfect Talk, man. Somebody got to win the week, somebody got to lose the week. It's just like the stock market, you know what I'm talking about? And this week, we're going to start with the losers, man. Nikki Haley. She dropped out of the Republican presidential race, and she kind of left things up in the air if she's going to support Donald Trump or not. Let's listen to it.
I wish anyone well who would be America's president. Our country is too precious to let our differences divide us. I have always been a conservative Republican and always supported the Republican nominee. But on this question, as she did on so many others, Margaret Thatcher provided some good advice when she said, quote, "Never just follow the crowd. Always make up your own mind." It is now up to Donald Trump to earn the votes of those in our party and beyond it who did not support him.
And although she's here in the loser section of this segment, I got to give Nikki Haley props for that. You know what I'm saying? She says she's not going to follow the crowd. Would I put money on it? No, she's probably going to support him at some point or another. But at least she's putting a forward face out there that I'm not just gonna follow the crowd. I'm not just gonna follow suit. I meant what I said. He's not the way for America to go. And at this moment in time, she's not definitely giving her support, Joe. But what I gotta say is you kept this going for a while, Nikki. Like, I could have told you a couple months ago this is gonna end up like this. Like, you done raised a lot of money, but you know what I'm saying? How do people feel that donated their money? Like, what my money go towards? You know what I mean? But I guess that's the way it goes in any presidential candidacy. But yeah, Nikki got up out the way, and it's Donald Trump. The only person in his path is Joe Biden now for the presidency. So, over here at Perfect Talk Podcast, we're going to keep you informed. And as for winners, shout out to my guy, Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? Now, although he did get dropped from the Broncos and he doesn't have a team that he plays for right now, he still gets to walk out the door with $39 million guaranteed for 2024. That's beautiful right there. And if he goes to any team, you know what I mean, they just minus that amount from whatever that $39 million is that he's going to get paid from that new team. But I mean, I'd love to get $39 million and have to walk out the door. I'll leave right now for $39 million. In the middle of recording this podcast. You know what I'm talking about? I guess the ultimate fuck you to his former employer was now they get hit with an $85 million cap hit because of this, because of releasing Wilson when they did. Now, do keep in mind, Wilson signed a 5-year, $242 million contract with them and finished with a losing record of 11-19. So to get paid to walk out the door, You a winner in my book, dog. And you know Russell Wilson's an athlete. I feel like we're gonna have another Russell Wilson resurgence where we talking about him in the country as being like one of the top athletes. He just has to have the right organization. When Sean Payton came into the Denver Broncos organization, he ain't had no respect for Russell Wilson. And he let it be known from jump. And you know that marriage wasn't meant to work. We seen that how that was gonna end up early. But I gotta give props to Russell Wilson because I think he put a good show out there while he was out there. People knew what he was working against. And the fact of the matter is, if I had to put my money on it, you know what I'm saying? If I had to take the over or the under on Russell, I'm taking the over. I think he's going to have another resurgence, and I think he's going to pop back up, man. He still got some time in him. Shout out to you, Russ. And right now, we're going to move on to my favorite segment over here at the Perfect Talk Podcast, and that's called Have You Heard? If everybody new here, that's when I bring some headlines to the table, and I discuss it with my people here at the Perfect Talk Podcast. Find out, have you heard? My man, Charlamagne Tha God. He was slammed for being fat phobic after having a week talking about Risa Tisa and referring to her as a big back. Now, I listened to The Breakfast Club, so I kind of heard this play out in live action. I'm going to start this off by saying Charlamagne Tha God did not call Risa Tisa a big back. When Jess Hilarious, who's new to The Breakfast Club, was telling the story about Risa Tisa, which I'll tell you about in a second, Charlamagne said her behavior was big back behavior. He hadn't seen a picture of her. He doesn't know what she looks like, but he was like, from just the description of what he was hearing, he said it was big back behavior.
Man, I hear a lot of big back behavior. Does she have a big back?
She do give Sheila that was driving up the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah, she
Sheila
did.
was beautiful though.
Yeah, no. You talked about the big back, not the
big back.
face.
Yeah, you're right,
She's cool.
What's your thing with big backs?
No, I'm just saying, because in a situation like this, some of you big backs, y'all got to stop being so thirsty for a man. There's a man out there for you. Okay, this woman believed all of this because she wanted to believe all of this. Big back belief isn't like everybody else's belief. Okay, she said it herself. He said everything I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
She wanted to believe whatever was coming out of his mouth.
And I'm not going to go into everything that Risa Tisa was talking about. She got a whole 50-part series on TikTok. You could go hear about how she married some dude who really wasn't what he said he was. And he was going through some, I mean, he was going to some leaps and bounds to keep the lies going. Now, I've also heard that he might suffer from some mental health issues. So it's nothing to make light of. But what Risa Tisa was talking about is how she married somebody that she just didn't know. And he didn't end up being what he said he was. And that's the behavior that Charlamagne referred to as big back behavior. The backlash that Charlamagne received was some people was like, well, this happens to women of all sizes, shapes, colors, creeds. To spotlight Risa Tisa, who did happen to be a heavy-set woman. I don't know if that means Charlamagne was right, but to single her out as if this is unique to her and people of only her type, I think that's wrong, and I think Charlamagne knows that's wrong. But to label it as being big back behavior is, you know, he's making a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's in the moment. It's kind of like I said with Meek Mill, you got to get these jokes. That's what people are doing when they're making content. That's what people are doing when they're hosting a radio show. But Risa Tisa didn't like that. And you know what I mean? When she was on Tamron Hall, she called Charlamagne out.
Negative comments have hurt the most, I guess.
There was a very famous personality that called me a big back, talking about my weight. And so it's things like that I'm like, Jesus, you know, I can already admit I'm self-conscious, you know, as a heavier woman. I feel like how I look should not dictate whether or not I deserve what I went through. That was disappointing, and it was hurtful, especially the one that was the more famous personality, because again, I'm more than just my weight.
Sirius XM's Kiki Monique decided to comment on it, saying Charlamagne in a comment referring to the fact that Risa Tisa is desperate, essentially, and the reason she's desperate is because she's a big girl. It's 2024. Can we get some new material? The whole narrative that big girls are so desperate. Here's the gag, babe. Have you ever met these cleat chasers out here chasing these athletes? Some of the most fit, put together, plastic surgery thin women ever. And you want to know the thirst level that these cleat chasers have? You would never catch my big back ass acting that way. But see, like, she's able to use the term big back and know it's a joke. Anybody that hears it gonna know it's a joke. So I feel for like Risa Tisa to really get offended by it, that might be something more deeper than just Charlamagne pointing it out. And it just so happens that he's on a platform that's gonna amplify it. But, you know, maybe she was called that in other lights. Nobody wants to be called something that they don't agree with or that they don't like about themselves, I should say. They don't want that highlighted. They don't want that pointed out. Well, there's also a point where we gotta face facts. Like, you know what I mean? Not to refer back to the Meek Mill thing, but you know what I mean? You did pose in a picture with Diddy and a midget wearing the same clothes. Like, people gonna say some things about that. Risa Tisa, you not the smallest chick out there. Some people might want to point that out. Is it mean? Yes. Is it a fact? yes. But it's also about the power that it has is how you react to it. And you can't give it that power. And if it really does have that type of power to ruin your day or hurt your feelings, and you have the ability, I don't know if Risa Tisa does or not, or if anybody out there, if you're not handicapped and you got the ability, go get it. Go work out. So be like, yo, these jokes are stopping. You know what I mean? Eat differently. Like, do something. I know I'm saying it like it's easy. You know what I mean? Trust me, I got my own weight struggles too. But I'm also not going to start crying or tearing all if somebody would have pointed out. I'd be like, yo, I did smash that bag of tortilla chips last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I could have skipped that brownie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to come to a point of just realization of self-realization, people, and knowing that, like, yo, you probably was desperate, Risa Tisa. I don't think it has nothing to do with how you look, your weight, your size, nothing like that. But I think that's more so of an issue that I think needs to be addressed in terms of the story that she's telling. Because as wild as it sounded hearing, I'm imagining it was much wilder living. Also got to give shout out to Charlamagne because he did apologize for his comments, and he didn't have to. He really didn't have to, because I don't think he meant it to hurt her feelings or even about her specifically. But being a bigger person in that scenario, he definitely stepped to the plate and gave his apologies and saying sorry, and that's big.
Listen, all jokes aside, I tell y'all all the time, the easiest way to keep your own peace is to not disturb the peace of others. I disturbed that woman's peace, and that wasn't my intention. So I apologize if my words made her feel that way.
That's something that people got to do, because Charlamagne does push mental health. Charlamagne does push the importance of that. So to know that you're like, could be accused of bullying, you know, that to know that you're being accused of messing with somebody's mental health, not only does that mess with the brand, but I think that just messed with his conscience. And he definitely apologized to Risa Tisa. So shout out to him. And shout out to Risa Tisa. You're going to bounce back, girl. Hopefully this 15 minutes of fame make you some money. Have you heard? Speaking of big back behavior, Oprah Winfrey leads the Weight Watchers board. That's right. Oprah Winfrey said, I got a new body, new year, new me. And guess what? I'm out of here, Weight Watchers. No, Oprah Winfrey has parted ways with Weight Watchers after nearly a decade of being on the company's board of directors. Now, Oprah joined Weight Watchers in 2015 and acquired a 10% stake in the company. She recently announced that she would no longer be standing on the board and won't stand for re-election at its annual shareholder meeting in May. She didn't issue a public statement, and Weight Watchers has come out and said that there was no disagreement between them and Oprah or any matters relating to the company's operations, policies, or practices. Now, Oprah definitely not only was 10% owner, but was also the face of the company during some of their ad campaigns. Now, I think where things got a little shaky was Oprah started using weight loss drugs recently. I don't know if y'all seen Oprah at the Color Purple premiere or just any of the promo that she was doing for that movie. But Oprah was looking, slim and trim. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't looking like she looked in the original Color Purple. I can say that. You told Harpo to beat me. Yeah. I was scared of that one. You know what I mean? See, that's what Charlamagne got in trouble for. I'm sorry. But nah, Oprah got the new body, but I think some people are like, well, did you get this from Weight Watchers or did you get this from Ozempic? Like, how you got that new body? And if you got it from Ozempic, which, you've spoken about using weight loss drugs, should we still be buying Weight Watchers? And I think just that, conflict of interest has caused Oprah to, want to part ways and go along her way. Something cool that Oprah did was donate her stock to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, saying that she was a longtime supporter of this worthy organizations and proud to continue her support. Dope thing to do, Oprah. Shout out to you. Now, the only thing about that is once Oprah left, that stock plummeted. If she really wanted to help him out, she would have gave him the stock first, let them know, yo, I got a little something coming down the pipeline. I might be up out of here. That thing might drop. And then made her announcement. You know what I mean? They could have sold off, made some money, but I could be wrong, but I believe that's insider trading. We got to ask Martha Stewart about that one. Have you heard your boy Bradley Cooper receive some backlash because he said he struggled to really love his daughter the first 8 months of her life? Appearing on Dax Shepard's podcast, Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Bradley Cooper admitted that the first months of his daughter's life, things were cool. But it wasn't that full-on parental love where you would just die for your kid, where you would take a bullet for your kid, and spoke about exactly how that emotion felt.
I remember the first time I realized, because everyone's like, I would die in a second for my kid. I'm always like, if I'm being honest, I don't know. Like the first 8 months, I'm like, I don't even know if I really love the kid.
We don't know her yet.
Dope. It's cool. I'm watching this thing morph. And then all of a sudden.
I love that honesty, by the way.
That's my experience.
That's a lot of people's, I think, and they're afraid to say that.
I mean, my experience was totally that. Fascinated by it. Love taking care of it. Would I die if someone came in with a gun? It's only a couple of months. I don't know. I got a lot
She just arrived. She hasn't even had any drinks.
I'm not committed yet.
A shout out to Bradley Cooper's daughter, Lady Cien Shag Cooper. I probably mispronounced that, and I apologize. But now, one thing I think that Bradley did wrong here was he said it on a podcast. And everything on the internet lives forever. One day his daughter's going to be old enough to consume it and might see that and take it the wrong way. I can sympathize with him, though, because sometimes when you're on a podcast, you could get really comfortable. You can forget the moment, forget the cameras, forget the microphone, and just really lose yourself in the moment. Ask Benzino.
What you want me to do? Come on, man. You think this shit is fucking cool? Nah, man. We're failing as a people.
It's not the hardest thing on earth to find yourself just a little too comfortable, maybe saying statements a little too honest, but also got to respect the honesty of it, because some of the backlash I heard was, how could he say that? How could you not feel it from the moment she comes out the womb? How could it not be this rush of parental love and protection and this, that, and the third? And I just don't think it works like that for everybody. You know what I mean? Like me as a single parent, my relationship with parenting was a little bit different, where maybe sometimes I always loved my daughter and I always loved her, but I didn't love the position that I was put in. And we got to stop shaming people for saying these things, because there are some real people out there who suffer from postpartum depression. There are some people out there who don't necessarily have a connection with their child right away, but they feel very uncomfortable expressing that. I've heard critics of this Bradley Cooper statement say he's wild for saying that. How could he not feel that from the moment? And it's just, everybody don't got that. Everybody doesn't have it the same way. I've heard someone who recently had a kid just say, it was a C-section, and there's a lot of blood, this, that, and the third. And although, your first reaction is, I got to go with the baby to make sure the baby's safe, his concern was still with his wife. He has a connection with his wife. He wanted to make sure that she was going to be all right. And more than it was his concern for the baby, and he was honest enough to admit that. And I don't think we should shame people. Like I said, parenting is not the same for everybody, and we're not helping the people who are really suffering from the unpopular opinions about parenting if we don't allow them to express themselves. So shout out to Bradley Cooper, man. I kind of do respect you saying it, because I know he's not alone. I know there's a lot of people out there who agreed in the clip. You showed it in the clip, co-signed it. So it's, and I think it's even harder for females that feel like that, because they're supposed to be the mother that loves and is connected with this kid for, by the time they come out, damn near 10 months. And it's just it's not always there. And we got to allow people to be able to be honest about that. So shout out to Bradley Cooper for allowing us to have that conversation. Before we get out of here, we got to do one of my favorite segments, and it's called Things I Seen on the Internet, man. We can't put these cell phones down. And me, I see a lot of funny stuff. First one up comes from, the Things I Seen on the Internet MVP himself, Donald J. Trump. He had to drop another banger. Let's check it out.
I was indicted by Fannie in Georgia. Fannie. How did that work out? And her lover, Nathan Wade. And they hired him for almost $1 million because of his great, great experience. Of course, he didn't have any experience. He had experience in something else. You know that. A lot of experience. And at that, I'm quite sure he was very good, based on the fact that she called him 2,000 times. I didn't know the gentleman. I didn't know him. Oh, you have 2,000 phone calls, 3,500 text messages.
Whose man's is this, bro? at a presidential rally, my man says that's what Nathan Wade is good at. Hilarious. He's the comedian in chief. You know what I'm saying? But Fannie, I can't feel bad for you, man. You set yourself up. When you make decisions like that, based off of hiring somebody that they could use it against you, you like Meek Mill, like Risa Tisa, got to get these jokes. And, Trump gonna get them off. And you set yourself up. You know what I mean? We'll see how everything plays out, if you'll still remain on the case. But Trump gonna Trump gonna drop bars about this because that's just what he do. Okay, and we got a bonus one here on things I've seen on the internet, man. Shout out to everybody watching on the YouTube, but I'm gonna narrate this one for you, everybody out. That's the audio fans, the people listening. But y'all, the audio fans, y'all gotta get over to the YouTube, man. At Perfect Talk Podcast on YouTube, man. Go check us out. Hit that subscribe button, baby. So it's like a gator, it looks like a Florida neighborhood. They got the gators down there, and they called the people out, the animal control. They got the gator with his hands behind his back. You know what I mean? The animal control guy, he's like slapping it back and forth. I don't know if that's kind of to calm him down or if he's just taunting, having fun, but he's tapping on the mouth of the gator. Now, the gator can't bite him. The mouth is muzzled up, in multiple places. Gator don't look like he like it, though. He's, he's hogtied, basically. All right, now they picking him up. They're picking him up and they put him in the back of the pickup truck. So they picked him up and they put him in the back of the pickup truck, but they didn't have his tail held in any type of way, and my man just swung. And he knocked the dude out that was slapping him on his mouth back and forth. He knocked him out cold with his tail, man. And then he slithered up out the pickup truck put me back in there again. I dare y'all. What's up? Who gonna do it? I dare you. Animals have feelings too, y'all. Peter tells y'all that. They ain't lying, man. I'm messing with these animals. They not with the play, man. That is another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast in the books, people. It's your man, DJ Playboy. I'm up out of here. That's another episode of the Perfect Talk Podcast in the books. It's your man, DJ Playboy. Go check me out on X at DJ Playboy. Check me out on Instagram at Plickapeezy. PLICCAPEEZY, and follow at Perfect Talk Radio on Instagram as well. Check out the website www.perfecttalkpodcast.com, baby, for everything DJ Playboy and Perfect Talk Podcast right there. You know how it's going down, man. We up out of here. Spread love is the Brooklyn way. It's your guy DJ Playboy. Peace. Or go get y'all a mug too, man. Go check out the website. Get y'all a little mug. You know what I'm saying? You can be sipping like your man Plickapeezy. You know how we holding it down. That merch, baby, is coming. Let's go.